Can you believe this? Hundreds of Queers for Palestine protesters shut down the Manhattan Bridge in New York City Monday night. They waved LGBTQ and trans flags as they chanted, "Queer, trans, no peace on stolen land." Jason Rantz with me. Jason, look, this is astonishing. Don't they know there are no gay rights in Palestine?
Well, do they know it, or are they choosing to ignore it? And I
question.
think that most of them are just choosing to ignore this. I think they view the world through this oppressor versus oppressed lens. Yeah. And thus, no matter what some of the specific details are on the ground, because they basically believe in this ideology as if it were a cult, they are always going to take the side of the person or the people who they deem to be oppressed. There's that Albert Einstein quote that said, there are two things that are limitless, the universe and human stupidity. And I think that they are falling into that category.
There's another one for you. A student in Seattle has reportedly failed a quiz after he answered that only women can get pregnant. Take me through it.
Yeah, so this parent reached out to me last week saying, I don't know if you realize what's going on in this particular school. It's Chief Sealth High School in West Seattle. It's a true or false quiz. Weirdly enough, it's in a ethnic studies world history course, but the whole point was to separate sex and gender. That was the intent of this teacher. And so it was a true or false question. The kid answered it correctly, saying, well, only women can get pregnant, men can't, and he was penalized for it. He ended up actually failing the quiz. The reason why we're seeing this in the classroom is because there is this movement, obviously on the gender identity side, to separate sex and gender, because if they can do that, you can then make the argument a little bit more easy to basically claim that you can change one's gender, that it is fluid. Right. Thus, unlike sex, which is tied to biology, you can't change that, but you can change it. It's ludicrous. It's indoctrination.
Well said. One last one. It's on the same lines. The police department in El Paso, Texas, could soon ask residents for their preferred names and pronouns before all interactions. How's that going to work, Jason?
It's not going to work because at some point it's going to be obvious that you're using the correct pronoun, but then the person's going to pretend otherwise, and it's going to be used to complain about cop conduct. And I think that it's just going to be used to go ahead and continue to demonize cops, pretend that they're somehow evil and insensitive. It's absolute lunacy. If an officer is dealing with someone who is legitimately transgender and that person says, could you please refer to me this way? Okay, do that. Do it out of politeness. But what I legitimately fear is one day you're going to have a criminal, a suspect, who might be transgender. You might misgender them, and then instead of focusing on the actual criminal, you're going to focus on the cop because he or she dared to misgender someone by accident. I just think it is a setup for cops.
They're just looking to take offense. That's what it is. Jason, that was good today. 3 very interesting stories. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon, I trust.
Thanks, Stuart.